in a factory like this. But the stress of the job made her eat more, and the more she ate, the fatter she got. Suddenly feeling furious with everyone and everything, she jammed the car in gear, released the brake, and stomped on the gas. She checked the mirror as the Golf shot out of the parking lot, delighted at the little cloud of dust she left behind. She turned onto the Shinoume Expressway and drove toward the city for a few minutes before turning right in the direction of Kunitachi. Beyond the pear orchards on the left, a tight cluster of old apartment blocks came into view. The place Kuniko called home. She hated living there, truly hated it. But at the end of the day, given what she and Tetsuya, her husband, earned, it was all they could afford. She wished suddenly that she were a different woman, living a different life, in a different place, with a different man. Different, of course, meant several rungs up the ladder. These rungs on the ladder were everything to Kuniko, and only occasionally did she wonder if there was something wrong with her incessant daydreams about this different life. She pulled the Golf into her designated space in the parking lot. The other cars were all subcompacts, all domestic. Feeling particularly pleased with her own imported model, she closed the door with a loud slam. Serves them right if it wakes somebody. Still, if one of the neighbors started shouting, she knew she'd be forced to offer an apology. For the time being, she had to make do here as best she could. She rode up to the 5th floor in the graffiti-covered elevator, and then picked her way down the passage strewn with tricycles and styrofoam boxes to her own apartment. As she unlocked the door and let herself into the darkened room, she could hear a harsh snore, like the sound of an animal sleeping in there. But she was so used to the sound, she barely noticed it. She pulled the morning paper from the mailbox and put it on the dining room table they'd bought on credit. Other than the TV listings, she never read the paper. It seemed a waste, and she'd often thought of canceling the subscription. But she did need the classifieds. She extracted the help-wanted female pages from the reams of real estate ads and set them aside, intending to look through them carefully later on. The room was warm and humid. She turned on the air conditioner and opened the refrigerator. She could never get to sleep, as hungry as she was, but there was nothing to eat. She'd bought potato salad and rice balls at the supermarket last night, but they were nowhere to be seen. No doubt Tetsuya had eaten them without giving it a second thought. Angry now, Kuniko yanked at the tab on a can of beer. Opening a bag of snack cakes, she turned on the television, changed the channel to a morning talk show, and sat back to listen to the celebrity gossip while she waited for the beer to take effect. "Turn it down!" Tetsuya yelled almost instantly from the bedroom. "Why?" Kuniko answered. "It's time for you to get up anyway." "I've still got 10 minutes!" he yelled again, and Kuniko felt something hit her arm. Looking down, she saw a disposable lighter that Tetsuya must have thrown. The skin on her arm was turning red. She picked up the lighter and went to stand over the bed where Tetsuya was sprawled. "Shithead! Do you know how tired I am?" "What?" he said, a look of foreboding on his face. "I'm the one who's tired. So you think that gives you the right to throw this shit at me?" She flicked the lighter and held it near his face. "Cut it out!" he wailed, knocking her hand away. The lighter shot across the room, rolling along the tatami, as Kuniko gave a stinging slap to Tetsuya's hand. "Listen, you asshole! I've about had it. You look at me when I'm talking to you!" "Fuck off," he said. "It's too early." "Shut up, you. And I suppose you ate my salad, too." "Keep it down, okay?" said Tetsuya, scowling. He was a size smaller than Kuniko and much more delicate. The year before last, when he'd finally found a regular job at a hospital, he'd been forced to cut his shoulder-length hair, but it made him look even seedier. Kuniko hadn't liked it at all. The Tetsuya who had wandered the streets of Shibuya hadn't been any brighter, but at least he'd been cute. She'd worked in a video game arcade in those days.